Welcome to the Pilot's Advisor. Hey, it happened. My son got a $1,000 deposit into his Trump account on July 4th. And so there it sits, the money ready to be used and added to, perhaps. We're going to get the skinny today from Ryan Fleming, of course, the Pilot's Advisor, who's going to go through what the Trump accounts are, what they mean, whether you should continue to invest in them and have them grow. Are they beneficial? Are they more of a waste of time? We're going to find out all the details with Ryan on today's show and find out about the fallout of these new Trump accounts. Did you get your $1,000 or not? We're going to talk about it coming up next. We're back on the Pilot's Advisor. Walter Storholt is always alongside the Pilot's Advisor himself, Ryan Fleming. Ryan, it is great to talk with you this week. I hope you had a great 4th of July as we're recording this just after the holiday.
Yeah, here we are. It's 6th July. It's Monday, back to work. Great 4th of July weekend and just playing catch up. And I thought, why not talk about Trump accounts?
Yeah. Well, the reason, we've known that these were coming, right? But now they are here. So kind of the bottom line, high level view for you. The Trump accounts are for kids. They're under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act from a while back. Kids born between 2025 and 2028 are the ones who get this seed deposit of $1,000, federal money, free money to the kids from the government. And you take that $1,000 and then we figure out what to do with it. And do we add to it? And that's kind of what we're going to get to the bottom of today. So give us some more details into what this Trump account really is, and we'll start to pick this thing apart.
Yeah, so we've been asked about this a lot. And of course, with no real guidance for a little while. And then we knew that they're going to fund them on the 4th of July. And then, of course, I can't open them for you. It actually takes you doing a little work, which then, of course, a lot of pilots are like, I don't want to do work. So, but unfortunately, I can't open it.
I can confirm it didn't take that much work, guys. So, and gals, let's not be that lazy, right?
Yeah. So we're going to tell you guys a little bit about it, give you a big picture. If your child qualifies for the free money's free money. Outside of that, if they're not going to get the $1,000 from the government, we're going to talk about big picture, what makes sense, what might be a better investment vehicle, and go through the whole spiel for you guys. But today, it's about the Trump account. Walter told you a little bit about what it is. They're actually formally calling it, and of course, we're going to call them Trump accounts forever, no different than like Obamacare. It's formally a 530A account. So that's the new, we know about 529s and all that for saving for kids, college. Well, guess what? These are called 530As. Think of it as a traditional IRA for your kids. So the money in there is after-tax dollars, and it's going to grow for a long, long time, and you'll pay tax on it, normal income tax, when you withdraw it. Your child owns the account. As a custodian until they're 18, you get to fly the airplane and decide how it's going to be invested and how it's going to be set up and all that. And at 18, it basically transitions over to traditional IRA rules over to the child once they're not a minor.
So 529 plan, the whole idea is kind of you're saving that money for, their schooling and college education for the most part. This is saying, all right, we're actually going to start setting people up for retirement from birth is the opportunity we're creating here. But none of this money is really intended to be touched for 60 plus years. Obviously, depending on when you're putting that money in, but from this kind of initiation point here is kind of what we're getting at. And I can't take this $1,000 and go put it in the boat fund or anything like that, right, Ryan?
No, you can't. And I honestly, to be totally clear, I love the idea. I love what they're trying to do. They're trying to teach from a very young age, let's invest our money to get ready for retirement. The biggest factor is the time factor, introducing anyone to the benefits of investing in the market and capitalism and how that money can grow over time. I don't know what $1,000 will grow to. Even if you put no more money in there, it'll be a significant amount by the time they're 60. So I love the idea of it. I like it better than a 529 because it's a little bit more, there has some flexibility, but they are two different animals. This is for retirement, not necessarily for kids' college. But let's talk about the details. So who's eligible? Okay. Your child has to have a social security number. They must be under 18 years of age as of December 31st of the year that you open it. One account per child, no exceptions, and no income phase out. So unlike the Roth IRA, it doesn't matter how much is made. You can still do traditional IRA, just like a traditional IRA. See, lots of it's basically a traditional IRA. So the only thing I really love about these is if you can get free money. Okay.
Yeah.
Free money from the government. And so that $1,000 seed money is, I like to say, the only real reason to open one of these. So if you have a kid born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, your kids are in that window. Now, Walter has a brand new son for the most part. So why don't you just tell us about your experience?
It was pretty easy. You know, I went to trumpaccount.com, Trump account. Yeah, not plural, but trumpaccount.com. Put in some basic information earlier on before the launch of the program. They kept me updated via email of like the progress of it happening. And on July 4th, they said, hey, here's the $1,000. It's been deposited into your account. So again, relatively easy to sign up. Just took, social security number for my son to be able to sign him up for it and, establish this thing in his name. Kind of interesting. I'm looking at the portal back end right now, Ryan. I'm just kind of checking it out because it's now finally starting to update a little bit. And from what I can tell, we're already at $1,001.09. So we've already gotten a little bit of something here. Now it says it's automatically invested into SPYM, an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. It even shows you the top 5 holdings in that account, and the percentages of each one. So Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet are those top 5s. But you were talking about growth. It's got a little button. I just click at age of 18, and it automatically shows me the estimated value of 18 if I do nothing. It gives me a little slider. And it says at 18, it'll be worth $3,280 if I do nothing. And then you can adjust that, obviously. At age 60, again, adding nothing else to it, it estimates it would be at $61,000 approximately.
Well, it's still amazing. And of course, the idea here is you open them up and then actually do something with it. We will have a checklist attached to this episode. It'll actually give you the website, trumpaccounts.gov, where to go to, how you file that form 4547, and the steps to go through that. However, big picture, the only reason why I would really open up a Trump account is if your child qualifies for the $3,000. If they don't qualify within those years, there's a lot of other investment vehicles that we could use that I would prefer. A traditional IRA treatment, like I said before, after-tax dollars going in, and then you get taxed as ordinary income going out. So that's tax deferral for 60-some years, and then you get you hit with the tax.
And the parent's not actually getting, any sort of tax benefit on the front end. So it's almost worse than a traditional IRA where you could potentially take that.
Yeah,
right
you could
off.
potentially get a deduction going in. Now, most of our pilots don't get a deduction. They can still contribute to a traditional IRA, but there's no deduction at their income levels. But you got no tax-free treatment. So as soon as I start hearing this, and we could do a whole nother podcast on that, I'd much rather do a custodial Roth IRA for a child. I'd much rather do some insurance policy where it's growing tax-free. There's many, many other things that we could take after-tax dollars and have better tax treatment and actually more flexibility on the back end. So take it for what it is. I mean, you'd be better off, honestly, putting the money into a traditional IRA each year and then converting it to Roth each year. That'd be another thing that you could do with the traditional IRA. So there's a lot of other things that I look at. UTMA, UGMA accounts, completely flexible. Those are, of course, they're not getting the tax deferred and they're not necessarily for retirement, but they could be treated as a retirement vehicle.
That would just be kind of like a brokerage account, essentially?
Yeah, a brokerage account. Or you could open up a brokerage account in your name, earmark it for the child, never, ever take money out of it. And it could be a legacy planning vehicle as well. All you got to do is die. And then you get a step up a cost basis. So anyway,
couple of options. You choose your path there.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this today, but we wanted to at least talk about Trump accounts. We're going to attach the steps to go ahead and open one up if you so choose to open one of these and you have a young child that qualifies. If you guys have any questions about it in general, we're here to answer the questions of what we do know and how we can. And if you're just looking to invest for your kids, whether it's for college or retirement, let's talk about some other options as well, because there are a lot of other options out there besides getting the free $1,000 and what you could do with that.
Attention aviators, when you've spent years in the cockpit managing the complexities of flight, isn't it time you navigated your retirement with the same precision? Introducing retirepilots.com. Right at your touchdown zone on our homepage, there's a beacon flashing, "Get my free toolkit." Click that and you'll be cleared for a direct route to Ryan's retirement toolkit, tailor-made for pilots like you. Inside, you'll find two of his important works, The Pilot's Advisor and Pilots Retire Early. Between these two books, you can decipher the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65 and discover the 7 lessons to help pilots land safely in retirement. But that's not all. This toolkit is packed with altitude-high value, including extras to get your retirement plans off the runway and light the afterburners on your 401k. Vector on over to retirepilots.com to grab your toolkit, and let's embark on this journey together. I do kind of view it a little bit of like it's at least completing a little bit of this triangle if you want to do something for your youngsters. And so this is what we've essentially done and how we're viewing it is 3 areas of trying to save in a little bit of amounts for our son. So we have now a retirement solution. So whether we just leave the $1,000 in there and, maybe it grows to that 60K at the, in 60 years or whatever the case may be, or if we add a little bit more to it, we're saying, hey, here's that seed money for your retirement. That's giving you a little kickstart. We've got a brokerage account under his name, a custodial account, and that is his teach him how to have fun and also learn about the stock market and about companies and investing. And I plan to introduce that one to him when he's very young and let him make some investments and pick stocks. This is what my grandmother did for us kids when I was much younger. Instead of gifting us toys and things like that, she gave us small amounts of stock growing up. And that's what got me interested in finance and money. And that became seed money for my first house, which continues to, be part of my financial story today, which is pretty cool. Even in the small amounts that it was, it gave incredible power. So kind of the same thing. And then the third component, a 529 plan for education expenses. And so we're kind of sprinkling into all 3 of those to kind of hit the 3 different triangles. So that's kind of our thought process and our plan. But the lack of tax advantages and the quite amount of time that money's locked up in the Trump accounts gives us a bit of that same pause that you're bringing up for why maybe we just let that $1,000 ride and worry about it another day.
Well, I think the key is I love the idea of it starting early, letting that time factor work for you. And, just like you're talking about, we have to get better at educating people on personal finance, on educating people about investing in the market prudently, not stock picking, Walter, that's bad. Right. But, anyway, but investing in the market and letting the money grow. I mean, it's hard when you don't understand it, but investing in the stock market is probably the greatest wealth creation tool of mankind, and the flexibility, you can't have it in any other investment. So take it for what it is and let it work for you. So I love the idea of it. I'm glad, I love the fact that your son has one set up already. I think it's amazing. And for those clients that do have newborns in the past, 3 years, let's work on getting that set up.
Yeah, go get them the $1,000 if it's available. Why not sign up for it? Yeah. You bring up great points all throughout the show today, Ryan. Appreciate your perspective on all of that. And again, if you want to reach out and touch base with Ryan to talk a little bit about your specific plans, or hey, in this case, a plan for a child and figuring that out and how it fits into the puzzle, it's all part of the conversation. It's all part of planning. And you can reach out and set up a time to visit, as well as get your retirement toolkit specifically made for pilots who are thinking about finances and retirement especially. All you have to do, of course, is go to retirepilots.com and you can order the toolkit and get in touch with Ryan. It comes with a free portfolio analysis where you get an in-depth look at your portfolio, your finances, where the gaps are, how you can improve moving forward. So check all of that out. Again, we've got links in the description of today's show for that, as well as this checklist if you want to go check out more information about these Trump accounts as well. Recaps a lot about what we've talked about on the show today. So check that out as well. Ryan, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
It was a short one, but I appreciate it. I hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Happy birthday, America. It was a great time, and we live in the greatest country there is.
You got it. Happy 250 USA. Awesome.
250.
Ryan's getting ready to go jump in the lake because he's got family visiting and they're all in the lake right now. So we're going to let him go so he can go have some fun with family.
Once again, Walter's always making me work.
Pulled him out of the lake to do a show, but now he's heading back in. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
This episode is for educational purposes only and is not individualized investment advice. The Pilots Advisor LLC is an SEC registered investment advisor. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal.